Hello.
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 How are things going?
I hope everyone is having a good Sunday morning. For me, it feels a little bit early, even though it's technically like noon.
I am certainly awake, or at least up.
Poovy's got us beat. She's in the future, so.
I am.
She's been up earlier than we have been. Like, I literally just woke up like an hour ago.
Well, I have to get up at. I have to be at work at 7:30 when we were going to work normally. So got used to it, I guess.
Well, I guess we can start off by talking about who we are. So my name is Kristen. I am the director of Paradiso, and I have been since its inception. So I've been involved in sort of the creation and the evolution of the pageant over the few years.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sora. I am a New Orleans pop musician that is also interested in JFashion, Lolita, and OG. And like everything else. And I was asked to be one of the first judges for the Paradiso Ouji Pageant when it first started, and now I am one of the coordinators of said pageant.
Hello, I'm Puvithal. I'm a designer, indie designer, doing mostly Manhera, Lolita, everything, a lot of OG accessories, for your OG accessory, of course. Over in Pittsburgh. And I've never been to Paradiso before, but I've heard so many great things about it. So I'm super excited. 2020 will be my first time.
Yes, and we're so excited to have you. Not only as like someone that's like well known in the like indie brand fashion and like in the fashion in general, but like, as a good friend of ours. Super excited to be able to hang out.
Yes. You're so far away now.
I know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the panel. Kristen, do you want to like kind of talk about like, since you are one of the creators, if not like the creator of the pageant, like, what brought this about?
For sure. So the pageant started as a way for us to really sort of highlight OG fashion as a staple style at the event. Obviously, a lot of our attendees are Lolitas, and we kind of felt like maybe people thought they couldn't wear other styles or that they would feel left out if they wore other styles. And so we really wanted to give people a way to kind of give more attention to OG style specifically. And it has grown in popularity a lot, I think, in the Western community in the last like 4 or 5 years. So it was kind of nice timing. But again, we just really wanted to, kind of elaborate that it's fine to wear OG, it's fine to wear Decora, it's fine to wear Lolita, what have you. But there's a place for you at the event. Like we want to bring your perspective to the event. So we also just continue to try to expand and offer new programming that maybe can't be found at other types of events like this or other events, maybe conventions that host JFashion programming of some kind. So since we do have this sort of unique platform, we wanted to try to come up with something new, something exciting. And more than anything else, we really wanted something like fun and playful to add to the event. I think that there's a big impression that, Lolita fashion is very serious and events like this are very serious, but the pageant specifically is very fun. It's very lighthearted. We give our contestants a lot of room for creative input. There are 3 categories that happen in the pageant, and every year we get new, totally different things that come in, so it's really exciting to see that. But it kind of works in, like I said, 3 parts. So the first section of the event is like the fashion show, where contestants are judged on the creativity and overall coordination of their outfit. So they have like a runway performance that they're able to do, and the judges get to have like an up close look at what they're wearing. And people really get to see, like what they've put into the outfit, if there are any special accessories that they're wearing, things like that. The second part is kind of our talent section. So originally that was called Woo a Princess. However, we've changed that to Woo a Royal as we've developed the event, because we do want to emphasize that OG is for everyone. And your partner, whoever that may be, that is also open to anyone, whether they, however they decide to identify, whatever they decide to wear, everyone is valid. So in that section, they have the opportunity to impress their partner with whatever their talent or their skill might be. And that kind of gives us a chance to see a little bit more of like maybe what their prince persona is, or, what they've been inspired by, or things that they personally enjoy. And then we move on to the Q&A section, which again, kind of gives us a little bit more insight into the individual. We usually try to mix that up with sort of more like in-character princely questions, as well as just general fashion questions. So we kind of, I know one of the things that I always remember is, like what is the most selfless act you've performed for, your kingdom or your realm or your city, or wherever it is that they are from. But we also ask questions, like what particular OG style or brand or whatnot really inspires you to wear this fashion, where did you start wearing OG, etc. So it's kind of a nice mix of both that character that some people choose to play, as well as the individual themselves. And then the judges tally up scores from those three sections to both choose their judges award and then also determine who the end winner will be. But our VIPs also get little voting tickets that they get to fill out. So it's very sort of Eurovision style, that the audience does get to kind of have a say in, who wins. And each of those votes counts as a point. So those point scores are added to the judge point scores. And so maybe someone who the judges really favored gets all of the audience attention. And so it can kind of really flip who's actually going to win the competition at the end of the day. So again, it's just very playful. It's here, to just kind of give a lighthearted feeling to the whole event. So I personally, what I really love about the pageant is that I really love Utena, and I also really love Rose of Versailles. And both of those shows feature, these like strong, like lady princes. And I really love, that kind of aspect of it. I know, like, personally in Utena, there's a lot of reference to, Utena wants to be a prince. She doesn't want to be the person being saved. She wants to be the hero. And I kind of like seeing that in the event that, anyone can be who they want to be. You can, dress however, and that's great. So that's kind of where it started. That's sort of what our goal is. And we continue to try to expand that to make it more accessible to more people.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some of the comments. Everyone loves the fact that you were inspired by Utena for this, and it's such a fun event. I mean, I've been doing this will be like my 4th year now. Oh God. So I mean, it's been such a blast working with you on this and working with the rest of the team. I'm really honored that you reached out to me to begin with, like the first time when you were looking for judges, and I was like, me, really? But I mean, like, it's been such a fun time, whether or not it's been judging or it's been, coordinating the whole event now. It's just like, it's always fun to see what kind of talent and what kind of, inspiration and innovation people bring. Because like we've seen like some more like, serious quote unquote, presentations. And then we've seen some like really, really goofy, but like obviously like kind of like I'm laughing with you at me kind of a thing. That people bring too. So it's been really fun to see, the clientele or the entries that we get from this, and it seems like the audience loves it too. I'm hoping.
I think last year especially there was a lot of audience hype. I think last year was really a great execution of the whole event. It was just so exciting, and I think our Japanese guests especially didn't really know what this was or what to expect, and I think they had a really good time. So yeah, I think being there and getting to see it is really an experience.
And I think like this, like, you know, when you mentioned the Japanese guests, like they don't really have this like in Japan either. Like, I mean, there's a big difference between like, you know, the Japanese meetup culture versus like the Western meetup culture and like, you know, the way they carry events. So I think this is probably one of the first, if not like the first, like Prince Ouji pageant ever. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be very wrong about that, but
yeah, I've from looking at all of like the photos and videos that get posted, that always looks like a ton of fun. I love seeing the focus on Ouji coordinates, especially like the more masculine ones, because I feel like I see a lot of very sweet or very cutesy goth Ouji, and not as much of the masculine ones. So like shout out to like Prince Blackheart and those styles. Like sorry, you also do that. The super
every so often.
Yeah. Also, fun fact: I've never actually watched or read Utena yet, which is it's something I need to rectify, not only because of all the wonderful things I've heard about it, but also it's one of the few anime out there that features like an Indian character as a primary character. But I'll get to it before the event, I hope.
And now you have even more reason to watch it.
Yes. And I'm really excited to see everyone's look. I love the pageantry aspect of it. Everyone always looks like they're having so much fun. And I like that you can kind of see that too, because a lot of times with Lolita events, you kind of just see like the perfect pictures and you don't see all of us like being complete idiots for 2 hours.
Someone mentioned in the comments that we're, what was it, was it prancing cupcakes? That was the term. Shout out to Moonbow Pups on that one. But yeah, actually, let's go ahead and talk to you about this, Poo, because this is, I mean, you've helped out with donations for some of your special, you know, specially designed brooches. Shout out to Poo Patel, you know, check out the wares. But as someone that has donated, you know, brooches for specifically the judges' picks as well as the overall crowned winners. Versus this is going to be your first time attending Paradiso as a whole, plus you're being, you know, you're featured as one of the guest judges. What is it that you're looking for, just in case we have any contestants that are like tuned in trying to get some, you know, super special COVID intel?
Well, I guess so. I just you just saying that actually made me realize, ooh, I get to have a judge's pick myself.
Oh, yeah.
I like doing those prizes because I thought it kind of like it adds to the pageantry of it, and it also allows for like, just because you don't win, you still kind of go home with something, and you go home with like a fun narrative of like, well, that judge liked me for this. And I guess like for me personally, what I'll be looking for is a lot of personality, something like a very interesting take, a lot of flair. I'm a sucker for personal flair. And probably also the reaction of your partner, because a good prince knows how their partner, like what their partner likes and what they react to. So a lot of those personal, unique touches, I think I will be looking out for.
Yes. Very, very wise words for our contestants. And as someone that has judged before, I always loved having the brooches, partially because, like, you know, I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna like this. I am the judge's favorite. This is mine now. But also, like, you know, it gives me, you know, as a judge, it like made me feel more like, oh, I can actually like physically give them something that, like, you know, I don't want to say seal of approval, but it's, you know, very much kind of like, oh, like, you know, you caught my eye. I'm going to like reward you with this physical thing that once again is like, you know, amazingly designed, super beautiful in person, like, you know. So I'm super excited, and I'm like, once again, I'm super excited that you're on board with us this year. I can't wait.
Yeah, all the cool people are coming, so I'm super excited. I also like with the brooches, part of the idea is kind of like, it's like a, like, you know, the king gives the royal ring, the royal signet,
right?
The subject is like a display of favor. I also like that idea with the brooches. It's like you are giving a royal signet to the the best prince you liked, and they now can be like, oh well, I have the royal touch.
Right. And plus, I mean, it's also like a really nice, you know, androgynous kind of accessory too. Like, of course, the princess can wear it like nicely, but I mean, you can also like use it in your like Lolita cords if you so, you know, choose to wear those as well. So it's like really nice and considerate. So I definitely want to like give a shout out to you for that.
Oh, thank you. You know, I made those brooches because of you, right?
What?
Yeah, I made the necklace. And then you were messaging me a few times like, hey, make this an OG. And then I was like, fine, I guess I'll make it an OG.
Well, y'all are just going to make me blush so much today.
Yeah, that's why they exist. They exist because you asked me to make them.
Oh my god. It's been so long. Because like I was just like, oh yeah, Poopy's just like amazing. Like she thought of this like herself. Just like, you know, it's all you. All you. But yeah, Kristen, what are you looking forward to for this upcoming pageants?
There are just so many interpretations that we've seen. I just really love seeing like the range of where people take the idea. For example, last year we had sort of like a zombie like prince, and I loved that performance. It was so creative. They had built like this whole like magic mirror kind of thing that their partner like came through. It was so cool. And I also really loved our little like bunny pair. Their little dance was so adorable. We actually did share a clip of that on the Paradiso TikTok, and we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback, and a lot of people really liked seeing that. So I'm glad that we get to share a little bit of, you know, what it's like online, because again, it's one of those events. I think that it's such an in-person experience. It's kind of difficult to relay like the overall effect of it just through social media, etc. It's very much like it's an experience. But I'm definitely the talent section is always my favorite, hands down. We just never know what we're gonna get. I really did love the year that we had the prince with the umbrella. On stage with their partner, and then like there was this magical music playing, and they open the umbrella, and like all of these petals fall out.
I saw
very magical. So again, we never know what we're gonna get, and a lot of times at least when I was still handling a lot of the coordination and whatnot before Sora was so kind to take some of that off my plate. You know, we ask in emails like, okay, what sort of equipment do you need? Like, what do we need to prepare for you? And we oftentimes don't get a lot of information. And so it's always just kind of like, okay, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. And it's always a surprise. So, and on the topic of the whole, you know, like judges, awards and whatnot, I do really like those as well. Because I feel like I can never 100% tell which judge is going to pick who, but whenever they do, it's very reflective of who they are personally, I feel, or things that they like. So for example, when Laure was here and she was one of the judges, she ended up giving her award to the Pastel Prince, who did the song performance and all of that. And they had actually like dyed their hair to match their coordinate, and it was all pastels and real sparkly and super adorable. So, you know, I feel like that kind of reflects some of Laure's values and things that Laure personally likes. And then last year, Tyler, who was with us, she gave her award to the very tongue-in-cheek mailman prince, who was, you know, very sneaky with their package delivery to their princess. So I thought that was pretty fun too.
Yeah.
Oh, those all sound great. I'm so excited now. What cool thing are we gonna have this year? Ooh.
I honestly don't even know. I actually do need to contact the princes and see, you know, start getting that ball rolling now that we're getting over this whole universal nonsense. But I mean, as you know, as the coordinator, well, as a judge, obviously I'm not going to know what's going to happen until it happens. But even as a coordinator, like all I really get is it's like, you know, let me know your equipment and like other technical needs, and then like give me your music if you have any. So I may or may not listen to the music, but even then, like I still won't know exactly what kind of shenanigans are going to go down. So it's always exciting to see like what actually happens once they hit the stage, and I'm just kind of like, you know, it's just so fun. I can't say anything beyond like it's just so fun.
Ooh, hoo, hoo.
Yes, hype the poopy, hype the crowd.
Yes, I'm very hype. Oh man, I'm trying to prepare like a very like I normally do kind of like punk-ish trash looks, but I'm trying to get something really good this year for the royal event for the coordinates, so that I can at least like match everybody else. We're gonna.
I gotta figure that out.
That comes together real nice. I'm excited. I'm hoping everyone will be surprised too with what I come out with for that day.
Yeah, for sure.
I did think it was really cute. I was watching some of the comments as our social media posts go out and whatnot. And when we released the art for the pageant specifically, I remember someone tagging you, Puvi, and saying like, "Oh, like, is this you?" And I just thought that was really cute. So, I mean, I'm not saying you need to wear that, but like,
make it happen.
I think that was me. I think I went there and I was like, did Paradiso just draw me?
Shout out to Teal, who does all of our artwork.
Yes. And that's another really wonderful thing I feel like for the event is Teal does such a wonderful job with the artwork for the event as a whole, but also the pageant. I feel very strongly about diversity in all of our media that we present. And Teal also holds those values as well. And so I really appreciate seeing it not only just in like our main promos, but also it carries into everything else. It carries into the pageant, it carries into the Tea Party promos and everything like that. So I always love seeing what she comes up with. It's always a surprise, just like our princes. So I'm definitely going to be getting my hands on a print of that if we do end up releasing little exclusive prints of the art from this year, which we usually do. But yeah, I guess from your perspective, Sora, do you have like any sort of favorite moments from any previous pageant?
God, they're all so good. It's just really hard to tell because like I've been behind the table twice now, like as a judge, and then I've been on stage moderating and like, you know, making sure that everything goes well. And it's just I will say I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna like go into full detail, but there was an end moment from last year where we had like all our princes for a photo op, and we surprised them with like one more final moment that I don't think like the audience knew what was going to happen either, but maybe we'll have to do it again this year, you know, just to bring it up or something. But it was just such a magical moment to see, like, you know, in my opinion, it's really more just like seeing them, like, you know, work so hard from and in the application all the way to like the final day. Because like as a performer, I'm that same way. I'm like, you know, we rehearse, we like, you know, practice, and we make sure that everything's like, you know, super tight. And this is no different. It's like, you know, it's kind of, you know, you're still having fun doing something that you love. It is a little bit serious in the sense that like, yeah, you want to make sure that you look good, but it's not serious in the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna like slit your throat or something or another. Which, like, you know, we don't advise that kind of pageant behavior in this household. But you know, it's super fun to see overall, like the end, hearing the questions answered in their however they answer it, whether it be like from the heart or like in a more characteristic manner, and then seeing how they perform the excuse me just seeing how they like perform their wooing. I do agree with the umbrella moment from the last few years, like the not this past year but the year before was really magical. And I'm trying to think, there was another one. There was like last year, I think one of the there was a couple that did the dance, and like their outfit lit up. And I was like, what? Excuse me? And it was just,
I guess that's one way to have your baby shine bright.
Oh.
Poovy coming on board means that we're going to have so much more puns this year than
be prepared for puns. I will.
You know, that'll be your homework. You have a few months to prepare. I'm going to be like shooting, you know, some props of you and like making sure that we get all the puns. For this time, I will allow it. I will still probably.
For this time. All of the other times you don't allow it, I'm still going to do it.
Jeez, it better be music to my ears then.
So, Sora, since you have judged before, do you have any like particular advice for Poovy or any words of wisdom to pass along?
It's gonna be so hard. It'll be very, very hard. Sometimes when I felt like I was like, you know, the Paul Abdul, where I was like giving everybody like 10s just because like they look super cute and I really liked them. And other times I felt like I was the Simon Cowell that like, you know, had the lowest score for a particular contestant out of the entire judging panel. I would say I tend to like to kind of like collaborate with the judging panel. Like, you know, sometimes I'll lean in and just kind of be like, oh, what did you think about this? Or like, oh, what did you give this scoring and whatnot? But I don't like, you know, it's not like a test where I try and like copy their answer. Not that I condone that, but you know, it's like, you know, I like to like kind of create a conversation. Obviously we have the topic of the contestant and like what they present, and then we like, you know, I like to kind of collaborate with the judges as well. But ultimately, follow your heart. If you really think that something wasn't that impressive, or you know, you were really, really wowed by it, and you're the only one on the table, feel free to mark it down. I mean, you know, worst comes to worst, you still have your judge's favorite brooch that you'll be delivering at the end. So really, it's just all about like, you know, it's all fun and jest. Don't feel like you're going to be hurting anybody's feelings unless you like directly tell them afterwards, which I mean, I don't really see why you would, unless it was like, you know, oh my God, you were so amazing. Again, positivity, all that stuff. But yeah, like, you know, just really follow your heart. But also I do, you know, I do encourage starting a conversation at the table and just be like, hey, you know, what did you think? Or like, oh, you know, am I the only one that thought this? Maybe, you know, maybe you'll get convinced otherwise too. Like I've definitely had times where I was talking and there, you know, the other judges gave some pretty good points as to why they liked or didn't like a specific part of, you know, this outfit, or like the way that they presented this, or the answer and whatnot. So.
All right, I will keep all of that in mind. I'm not too terribly worried. I can be judgmental. Be prepared. I did say we had some questions if you guys had wanted to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. How do we want to do this?
So it looks like we've got a few here to start with, which would be, can you still enter for this year? The applications have closed as of now. Obviously, things are just kind of strange given the climate of the situation that we're in. So as of now, they are closed. I'm not anticipating us reopening, but I can't 100% say that's certain. What I would say is if you are interested, make sure that you look for the information for next year. Because the pageant grows every year, we get more people, and we love seeing more and more interpretations, like I said. So we always announce that on social media, and we usually give a good chunk of time to apply. It's just meeting that deadline. So looks like the next one we have here is, are there any videos of past pageants? I've only seen 2018. I know that on social media, there are a few little bits and pieces from last year. We always kind of have the problem that the lighting in our venues doesn't end up being what we expect it to be. So when we try to get our own video, either, you know, it doesn't work out because of the lighting situation, or the staff that we had planned to help us with that ends up getting involved in helping the pageant itself. But I know that a lot of people have gotten video footage like on their phones and things like that. So you might just check Instagram in general. or like I said, we do have a little bit of it on our TikTok, which is just paradiso.gala on TikTok. So there's a little bit there for you.
Yeah, and if y'all have any, footage of the previous pageants, feel free to share them. We obviously have a bunch of different avenues. We have the Paradiso Facebook and whatnot, and you can always tag us on Instagram. Just a little at Paradiso. What's the handle again? Look it up real quick.
I think our Instagram is also Paradiso Lolita.
Paradiso Lolita. Sure. Yeah. But so just feel free to tag us. Feel free to share whatever footage y'all have, for sure. Let's go ahead with the next question. Would you consider having a Hall of Fame on your website to highlight past winners and participants? That would not be a bad idea, actually, and that probably would. Yeah, we'll have to look into that, because we can also compile all of the different footages for little digests. So that is definitely something that we will look into. Thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion, for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be really cute.
Yeah, it might even end up being like a snapshot of how OG as a style evolves over the years too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Related, will there be a Paradiso art book someday? Teal, if you're listening. Definitely would love to see that, for sure. I am such a fan of Teal's artwork. Yeah.
Though I also, having produced some printed media, I understand that it's a huge pain in the ass and it's expensive. So
so if there's a demand for it, if y'all really want that art book, let us know. Let's see.
All right. So it looks like, is it required to have a partner? No, actually. Originally, when we started the pageant, we paired our princes with staff members, and there were a couple of different reasons for that, but that is still an option. So if you're wanting to enter the pageant, but you don't have someone that can come with you, or you don't, have a friend that's willing to get on stage with you, we do provide a staff partner for you to interact with, and we'll give you opportunities to rehearse with them and speak with them directly through Messenger or what have you, to kind of plan ahead of time. So don't let that stop you. We can definitely find a solution for that.
Yeah.
On that note, do you allow people to have multiple partners?
That's a great question.
Very good question.
We actually do have an entrant that has requested to have 2 partners.
Yes. It'll be the first time that we have it for the pageant, so I'm excited to see how that goes.
I'm very excited.
I'm kind of wanting someone to come in. Have you seen that meme where it's like a bisexual and they're doing bicep curls and they've got like a guy and the girl?
Oh my god.
Love it.
There's an idea for you, for somebody.
There you go. You got it. You're hearing it straight from the judge, herself. So, but yeah, no, this is definitely going to be the first year. Slight spoiler, but we are going to have a contestant that will have multiple partners for them this year. So it'll be very exciting to see how that goes. Very, very excited. Let's see. Who is your favorite brand that releases OG clothes?
Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I like Boz a lot. Really, my favorite OG clothes tends to be whatever Butt Cape happens to be wearing that day.
Yeah.
Butt Cape style and my taste are like right there next to each other. What I think they're called SAS by Design, the Canadian indie brand. If I'm getting that name wrong, I'm so sorry, but I really like their work as well. And of course, whenever Elegy is another one that does a lot of really good, excellent goth. I'm actually getting my second OG vest ever from them sometime this year, so excited for that.
Yeah,
what about you?
I also really love Bose. I don't have like a degree in design or anything like that. I have a different sort of art degree, but I have a lot of friends who are either they design their own collections or they have gone through that sort of training. And Bose has such very clean lines and very structured pieces. And although it looks simple when you see it, that actually takes a lot of work and a lot of very like precise patterning and whatnot. And I really appreciate the detail, even if it's not really like showy or a bunch of lace or like tons of gold or anything like that. I just really love the construction of their pieces.
Yeah.
And I do like that they are so versatile that they can be worn, you know, as more feminine, or they can be worn more masculine. So, and of course their materials are always amazing. The cloth, the fabric they use is just great. But I do also like Alice and the Pirates and their kind of one-off sort of creations that they make every now and then. Like Pirate Ouji will never get old for me. So, you know, I love seeing like the big hats with the feathers and like the brocade and all of that and the big like cuffs. I'm about that. So
yeah, I second that.
A lot of indie brands through Taobao have been releasing various things for Ouji, and I think there's a lot more room for creativity there that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of like all over the place designs, and so I can't really say I have a particular favorite, but I have been enjoying seeing the expansion of the style.
Yeah, I second that. Like I was gonna say, obviously I have some Bose pieces. I have a few Alice and the Pirates pieces. I'm still waiting for AP to release. They had like an Ouji set on the runway, and it has never seen the light of day ever since. And it's like, why has this not happened yet? But I second. I was definitely gonna say Taobao for sure, because I have like I have a Fan Plus Friend pirate jacket that I wear all the time. That's like, it's like, you know, just, you know, it's nicely constructed. It's not like super heavy, but like it's just like nice enough to feel like, you know, oh, you're like, you know, a regal pirate ready to go. So that also kind of ties in with like one of the other questions. Someone was asking recommendations for plus size Oujis. I would definitely say look into Taobao. It's not, it really depends on the store and the brand that you buy from. So I can't really say like, oh, everyone's gonna have this. But a lot of times when I've shopped, either like the sizing has been bigger, or like sometimes they'll even have custom sizing options. So definitely look through Taobao. It's a big, expansive world. So if you need some help, don't be shy and feel free to ask for help, because like, you know, veteran Lolita buyers have been there. We know how weird and scary it can be. So definitely check out Taobao on that front. But our next question.
Ooh, I'm going to add to that for the plus size Ouji.
Yeah,
Elegy has done plus size Ouji from like since before I was into Lolita. So Elegy's got a really good track record on that. And then Miss Danger does some kind of Ouji-ish blouses and things every now and then. And I believe they also do plus size.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I met Elegy, like the designer for Elegy, last year at Paradiso. So I'm super excited. Hope that they'll be back at you know, in the convention space. But speaking of which, our next question says, I know the venues may not have the space or accommodations depending on what venues we go with, but would Paradiso ever consider hosting panels? First and foremost, shout out to Puvi for helping us like get all of this together. Puvi and our tech person behind the scenes, Alexis, shout out to them for making sure that this looks good and runs smoothly. But
and Kat too. Kat's been doing all the promotional media and putting all the stuff on in between.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to y'all real quick. But Kristen, that seems like a question for you.
Sure. So Paradiso is structured more as like a social party event than necessarily sort of the convention style of having these separated rooms with different topics happening at the same time. So we have been trying to expand and give designers particularly more time to kind of talk about their brand, talk about their ethos, etc., which is kind of panel-like. But it is something that we've considered multiple times, and you are right, it does kind of come down to the spaces that we use, because most of the spaces are more like wedding venues than necessarily convention centers, and so there isn't always an applicable space to host that kind of content. So, and the other thing is, as is now, we have, both days are packed with programming. So for example, this year is the first year we're able to host like an evening like ball situation, which we've been wanting to do for a long time. So we do keep trying to expand like our range of programming, but it is kind of a matter of like, okay, how much can we realistically shove into one day, and still give people opportunities to do all of the things, basically. So it's on the agenda. I can't say specifically when or how it would happen, though.
Can we talk about the ball a little? I want to do
a
thing. So make sure y'all tune in. Obviously, this year's Paradiso theme is Symphonium. All about the music, all about, however that relates to you. But cough, cough, hint, hint, I will be performing at Paradiso. I don't know. Is this us like announcing it, I guess?
Oh, it's been announced. It was on social media, so it's a known thing.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I just haven't been checking. I've been checking every other time, I guess. But yeah, so come check it out. I would love to party with y'all. And just kind of just have fun. And we also have a few other musical guests, so I'm super excited to see what all they bring. We got a few more questions. Let's go ahead and get those in. Any hints or sneak peeks for Peeps on who's also competing this year? Do we wanna?
I will be honest, I don't really know who all has currently entered. I think I did see a few names of people I recognize. But truthfully, I have seen contestants enter multiple times and go completely different ends of the spectrum each time that they enter. So I don't know if I can really answer that, but Sora, you might be able to give a little bit more insight.
I can, yeah, because I have all of the forms and all of the names and a very terrible memory, so I apologize. But I do know I saw, who was it? You mentioned our zombie Prince Maze. I saw them in the live chat. Prince Maze will be here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe our male prince may also be making a return. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. If not, they will definitely still be at the event in some way, shape, or form. Cough, cough, hint, hint, sneak peek. Other hints, we also mentioned we have our first instance of having a prince with multiple partners in their wooing. So that's another fun sneak peek. I guess we can talk about the other judges. I mean, we have returning this year, we have Hello Batty. Catherine is going to be making a return. Unfortunately, she could not be here due to personal, well-being and whatnot, but we are excited to have her back on the panel. Obviously, we have Pubitel as well. Super, super excited about that. Who else do we have on the panel again this year?
So Avalon, our original crowned prince, will also be returning. I know they're very excited. They hand make all of their clothing each year to fit the event. So I'm very, very excited to see what Avalon comes up with this year. But they've always been a very positive, really wonderful presence at the event. So should be great.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's all we have to say in terms of the sneak peeks. So it just means that you're just going to have to come check it out. I think that's all the time we have left in terms of the Q&A portion. Do we have any other final thoughts, any other final comments for our audience, as well as maybe the contestants or anyone that wants to compete in upcoming pageants?
My big takeaway is, again, just have fun. It's a completely open platform. So we have had, what do I want to say? Bump and grind, rap renditions.
That was one of my favorites, I will also say. Not being biased, because they are one of my closest friends down here, but it was so wild. I had no idea that was going to happen.
We've had comedy sketches, we've had magical performances, and it's just open. It's completely open. So I can't wait to see what comes to the table.
Yes.
Yeah, I am super excited. I've been wanting to go to Paradiso and to watch the pageant for literal years. So I'm going to try not to lose my shit for every single performance, but quietly inside you can know that I will be losing my shit every single performance.
I mean,
you can get loud.
Yeah, we love
oh, do not encourage me.
Just the little camcorder, just kind of totally fine with that. Just it's all about having fun. That's really what it boils down to. We're in the fashion to have fun, and if you're not, then I mean, good luck with that. All right. I think that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much, Kristen, for having us for this. Thank you so much, Puvi, for organizing all of this.
Yes.
Thank you to our audience for tuning in. I want to, I know that everyone's kind of tuning in from all around the world. I saw someone from London, and I was like, wow.
Yep. London,
Oh, wow.
Scotland, Australia, Finland, Mexico. I've also been kind of surprised, but yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see all of y'all in August at the Symphonium.
Yes. Thank you all again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.